Trade rumors are escalating for the Dallas Cowboys as a recent report revealed a new trade target for the Cowboys, and it's a former division rival. We will tell you who this target is and why he is being linked to Dallas, all right here on Cowboys Digest. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join it here with us. I want to remind you that if you're new, hit that subscribe button. It's 100% free, and it's the best way to support the channel. Plus, we're covering the Dallas Cowboys 365 days a year, so if you want all your news, information, and updates on America's team in one place, we got you covered. Today's video topic comes from this article in which the headline is, Dallas Cowboys urged to trade for a playmaking former division rival running back. Now, we all know the Dallas Cowboys have had a very busy offseason. Talk about the Joe Milton trade. You talk about the trade for George Pickens and the free agent signings of Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. It has definitely been an offseason for the Cowboys to try and make them a playoff caliber team, especially with the way last season went and the change of head coach with Coach Schottenheimer coming in here and replacing Mike McCarthy. It definitely feels like a new era in Dallas. But one problem still stands the same, and it's the running back depth for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Jaden Blue, and I have good inklings about Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. I feel like if they are able to perform the level that I know they can, we should be all good. The key word there, though, is should, because quite frankly, there is a very real possibility also that Javonte Williams is a bust in the free agent signings. And Miles Sanders is going into his 7th year in the NFL. In the past 2, he's had a combined like 500 total yards. Jaden Blue is a rookie, and I do have a lot of faith in him, but he is a rookie. Deuce Vaughn obviously is a question mark on still if he's going to make this roster. Hunter Lipke, Phil Maffa, there's a bunch of guys that are honestly all question marks. And that's exactly where this trade report stems from, because we've talked so much about the big name running backs in Dallas getting an RB1, like, Travis Etienne or Najee Harris. And while some of those rumors were shut down by the Dallas Cowboys executives, they left the door open a bit by saying that they're always looking. And with that, this seems like an interesting topic to bring up. That's where we go into the article from Josh Sanchez of Dallas Cowboys SI, saying, quote, the Cowboys Wire recently suggested Dallas should swing a trade with the New England Patriots, who they acquired backup quarterback Joe Milton III from earlier in the offseason. For a running back, Antonio Gibson this time, though, a former division rival who spent 4 seasons with the Washington Commanders, end quote. Now, Antonio Gibson is an interesting player for a couple of different reasons. He was a very good running back with the Washington Commanders, having a 1,000-yard rushing season, and for a long time feeling like one of their top backs. Now, obviously, he spent the past couple years, or last year at least, with the New England Patriots, and with their draft of Trevon Henderson, it feels as though there's not really a spot for him, because if you look at their depth chart now, Ramondre Stevenson is the 1, and Trevon Henderson is the 2. So Antonio Gibson now becomes the 3 back. There is a lot of speculation about how much the 3 back is worth in the NFL. And in this recent report, the Cowboys Wire suggested that they take a hack on Antonio Gibson. And so it's an interesting report for sure to kind of take a look at why exactly this trade would be even suggested in the first place. And that's kind of where we have to go into the official report that we kind of got from it from Eric D. Hansen. He says this on the Cowboys Wire, saying, quote, Gibson at 6 foot and 228 pounds looks the part of an NFL running back. He's a well-built game breaker with a 1,000-yard season on his resume and breakaway speed in his arsenal. Gibson is a solid pass catcher with elusiveness in the open field, end quote. Okay, so we have the positives of him. He obviously has the 1,000-yard season. He has the positives in his backstory. And last year, it wasn't anything, quite frankly, special for him. 120 rushing attempts. He did have 744 total yards as a second-string back, so it is something to note that he is still producing. Obviously, that is receiving and rushing yards in that. But his 4.5 yards per attempt is very good. 43.7 for a backup running back is also really good. But what honestly strikes me the most about Antonio Gibson and why this trade is so intriguing to me and why I actually wanted to kind of talk about it more is because he reminds me a lot of a running back the Cowboys have on their roster, and it's Jaden Blue. Because if you kind of think about the way that they managed the game with Jaden Blue at UT, and the way Antonio Gibson managed his game with with the New England Patriots and the Washington Commanders, it's very similar. Jaden Blue, a pretty good receiving back. Antonio Gibson, a pretty good receiving back. They're pretty elusive. They have downhill speed, and when they get going, they can get out there in the open field and be very, very elusive, especially, again, 6-foot Antonio Gibson, Jaden Blue, 5'9". He is going to be elusive and hard to tackle. So I find it very interesting that Antonio Gibson is being mentioned alongside this when you already have Jaden Blue. Now, the counterpoint to that is that Jaden Blue is a rookie, and quite frankly, the question marks with rookie running backs still stand. Do I think there's a lot of positive with him? Yes. Am I 100% going to sit here and say Jaden Blue is going to become the next Isaiah Pacheco? No, I'm not going to come out here and say that, because the running back position it's just so futile to make a prediction on any type of running back, especially in their first year coming into the NFL, especially when they're, a 5th round pick. It's just something you don't really take a look at. Now, I do want to continue because obviously, to my initial standings, I don't see the point in this trade, but I'm going to give Reed D. Hansen a chance to kind of come out here and say something. He says, quote, "Gibson isn't the between-the-tackles grinder Williams is, but he's a playmaker who can share the load. He would add to the options and largely serve as an upgrade to any other cocktail head coach Brian Schottenheimer could mix together at this point in the summer," end quote. And while I do agree with that, I think that Antonio Gibson would definitely be an upgrade because, quite frankly, if you look at his stats, he has a more recent successful season than some of the running backs we have on our roster. Now, has it been great over the past 3 years? Not necessarily, and that's exactly why the Commanders did not re-sign him. But if you go back to 2021, that 1,000-yard rushing season, his average is still hanging around that area. 4.5 yards per carry last season. Obviously, just the one touchdown behind Ramondre Stevenson. But at the same time, you look at the ability of Antonio Gibson, and I do understand the point of suggesting this and kind of breaking down why he would be a good fit with the Dallas Cowboys. Because if you look at Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, they quite frankly just don't strike you as a guy that's going to come out here and compete for an RB1 position. Now, does that mean they should go and make this trade for Javonte? Or excuse me, for Antonio Gibson? I don't know. And that's where I open the question to all of you in the Cowboys Nation. Should the Cowboys make a trade for Antonio Gibson? One should answer this in the comment section. I'm always looking down there, always looking to have some good chats about some Cowboys football, especially since we're kind of in a dead month. I got to be quite honest. July here, there's not much going on. I'm waiting for training camp. I'm fiending for it. We're about 7 days away now, so we're getting closer. But obviously, it's an interesting situation with Antonio Gibson, so I want you to get down there. Let's talk some ball about what we think about the Cowboys running back room and if Gibson would be an upgrade. Now, my final point, as we kind of throw out the picture here, is that I don't see the point in making this trade unless the value is there, which is kind of how I've said about most of these trades. Because right now, the one thing that I want for the Dallas Cowboys is a Micah Parsons re-signing, or an extension, rather. That's the thing that I am most worried about. So these trades, they're all fun and games, and the reports are fun to do on them. But quite frankly, they're not my number one priority. However, I do these specifically because a lot of these guys I could see being mid-season trades. And that's where I see the Cowboys making a trade for running back rather than right now. Because right now, the question marks behind Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Jaden Blue are probably the same question marks that you're going to get out of any other back you're going to trade for. Like, they're going to be question marks, unless you're able to get like a Najee Harris out of the Chargers, which doesn't seem possible. And so for Antonio Gibson, the question mark still stands with him, and I'm just like, if he is that comparable to a rookie that you have on your roster in Jaden Blue, don't go out there and make the trade, unless it's like really good value. Unless it's like, okay, we'll give you a 7th and take him. Like, that's the way I see this happening, but I truly believe that, in my opinion, this trade rumor and the way that people are talking about it is a fair statement. I get the point. The running back room is something that I'm very concerned about, but I'm not to the level of concerned as I'm going to go after Antonio Gibson, who, again, the stats haven't been good the past 3 years, at least in the rushing room. So that's how I feel. Let me know again your thoughts in the comment section. Is this a guy that you would like to see? Is this someone that you believe is just kind of, again, smoke in the mirror and the Cowboys shouldn't go after a running back? All your thoughts in the comments section. But that's all we got for you on today's show. We appreciate you joining us. As always, again, hit that subscribe button if you are new, and we will see you next time here on Cowboys Digest. Peace out, guys.